Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final return of the BFR Teal Mask series. It has been some time as a result of just having significantly more difficulty scheduling with people in this league than I have had with VBL. People dodging, people having very limited activity, people just not being super responsive. This time, for my current weak opponent, this is actually the current weak opponent, not the previous three. We do have a time, and we're both here for it. They have, well, okay, it was slightly later than originally I think we'd scheduled for, but there may have been a bit of confusion there, because it was originally going to be yesterday, and then it slipped over my mind, and I imagine it slipped over my opponent's as well. But we're here, and this is a pretty interesting matchup. So their team is, so I have 3 Pokemon faster than their entire team, with Thund, who ties their fastest Pokemon, which is obviously a decent start for me, and something that could theoretically be reinforced by webs, but may not be. And I do also have the slowest Pokemon in the matchup, which may let me use like a Trick Room sort of composition, potentially. That said, they have Ogerpon Wellspring, who is a very, very strong Pokemon. It can like Swords Dance, it can Trailblaze. I have not played against Hearthflame, but I did prep against Hearthflame ages ago, and I was sort of thinking about that. And Wellspring is similarly a thing. It is immune to water moves, which is very scary, and because it does often set up and try to win, you have to sort of rely on having defensive ways to do it. They do also have Komoa, who can use Clangorous Soul to give itself an Omni boost, which is pretty strong, and then like potentially like a Tidy Up, especially with Terrestrialization boosted Mousehold, could be pretty spooky as well. So I do have to keep a lot of that stuff in mind. And then beyond that, you know, they do have dual screens to sort of enable those 3 strong setup options, and then some other okay setup options. Diancie, definitely never a terrible setup option, especially with Terrestrialization. Rock Polish Weakness Policy is the classic, but even just Diamond Storm defense boosts are really strong with Body Press. Espeon with potential Calm Mind, Swords Dance on Scyther or Mimikyu can really just be sort of issues that I have to take very seriously. So I've wound up skewing towards a fairly faster version of this composition of my team overall. And they only have 1 Fairy Resist, so, you know, Rabombi's pretty good. They only have 1 Steel Resist, so Goldengo is pretty good. That said, they do actually have Terrestrialization that can benefit them in these defensive matchups, which a few of my other opponents have not necessarily had. That said, Doug, fastest Pokemon in the game besides my own Rabombi, and they have a decent number of Pokemon that can be dropped by DUGTRIO. So Mimikyu can't, Scyther can't, and Gligar can't. Theoretically, a lot of the other Pokemon can/can't, for various reasons. But like Ogerpon has to always run the Teal Spring Mask, so if I get it in range where it dies to Stone Edge, or even better, Earthquake, then it'll die to Stone Edge or Earthquake, and then just die, because it won't have the ability to do anything besides click Spiky Shield, or dodge Stone Edge, which is why Earthquake would be better. That said, if it's got a Trailblaze up, it's faster, and then I can't. But yeah, I can Doug a lot of stuff, so and that's just fun. I'm so glad and happy to have Doug in this format. So I've just sort of gone with a very offensive sort of thing. Lycanroc is the faster than their entire team, and I run a Choice Scarf on it because a lot of their Pokemon can get to +1 speed very easily, but struggle a lot more in getting to +2 speed. It is Terra Fairy with Play Rough, predominantly to punish Komoa. Komoa is a real issue. It has Accelerock in case they have somehow scaled up speed multiple times, or against like a Mimikyu potentially that is quite low and I don't want to take the Shadow Sneak. So that's sort of something I've kept in mind. And then like theoretically this could clean in the late game. I've got double Specs Rabombi and Specs Goldengo, and I just want to push out damage with them. I do have Sticky Web on the Rabombi. I've got the nasty Thundurus to try and clean up, and then I have the option potentially for Toxic Spikes. Now I do have the U-turn on Rabombi, Thundurus, and Trigolgi, with the hope being that I can then get into Doug to remove Pokemon. So that is sort of how it's going. I feel like it is an okay matchup offensively. It feels like it would be a really volatile and fun sort of game. And I have to remember, this is why I also don't have I've got the Toxic Spikes, but I don't have Rocks on anything. I almost brought Heatran, I almost brought Dondozo. I don't have any of that because of Magic Bounce on Espeon. It may not prove to be a massive issue, but it's always something I'm concerned of. And I have to also remember that Pokemon can run air balloon to dodge Arena Trap, and I think this may be a team that runs like an air balloon on Mouse or Espeon. That said, Mouse's ability to remove hazards gives it a setup so that it's faster than Doug, which is, one thing why I have Sucker. The idea of Foul Play is that it is actually stronger than Stone Edge into Wellspring, but I forgot that I had this because I built it a little while ago. But, just waiting for my opponent to respond. Yeah, I didn't wind up bringing... I had a version of this team that had Brute Bonnet on it, and I had a version of this team that had Flapple on it. Grass is just not good enough, and Dark is just not good enough here for me to justify continuing to bring them. Okay. I always try to click on the friends one. I gotta... It says you are offline. I always try to click on the friends button. I'm gonna have to get used to the find the user not being the bottom button. Okay, it looks like they just got on. Let's challenge them to Paldea Dex Draft, and it's got the right team. Hopefully I'm going to get some other videos up and ready. I'm not really sure how the release for them is going to work in practice. But, sent, shall. Okay, they've accepted. Let's get the immediate GLHFs off. Okay. Gligar is one of the more annoying Pokemon on this team. They did not bring Komodo. They did not bring the one Rock Resist or the one Fairy Resist. Mouse? Oh, they didn't bring Diancie. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just going to quickly open up the BFR. And then... Terra Captains are always fun. I think Mouse had, like, Flying, but that might be confusing with something else. It could even be confusing with the Diancie that didn't come. Conveniently, not loading. Okay, I think I've sent this screenshot to someone else when I was building. I noticed that. So, oh, no, there we're going. It's loading some stuff. Let's see if I can scroll to it first. It is Ghost, Grass, and Dark, besides the Terra Normal that it has to have. I'm closing that immediately. That's lagging my computer. Okay, no Espeon. The idea is hopefully I can nasty plot up to just win with Thund. That said, this is into a Fizdef version. I would not be shocked by seeing especially defensive Gligar, and that will make it a bit of a challenge. It would definitely be the main concern that I would have. I did consider knockoff, didn't wind up bringing it though. Everything I'm looking at makes me want to lead Goldengo here. I guess Muck would be the main reason not to. Eh, don't die. Unless they're like genuinely offensive, because this even has investment. I don't think Rabombi is a good lead. I think I'm going with the Goldengo lead. This knockoff is actually going to hurt. And I don't have, I'm forgetting the entire English language right now. What was I supposed to have, and what do I not have? Oh, I don't have Power Gem. I almost did run Power Gem, but I wound up running Dazzling Gleam because I was scared of Komodo. I mean, I expect to get knocked off and take a pretty significant amount of damage, and then do less damage as well as a result, which isn't great. But I do think I need to... Okay, they switched. I don't know what they're switching into. I hope it's Gligar. Gligar could theoretically be faster than me. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna make it rain again. They might have Sneak. They came in so fast. But, yeah. That's just an immediate sack. This is sort of what we were hoping to do with Goldengo. Or they might switch into, Ogerpon this turn, but I would still like some chip on it. Like, it's not like it's taking it crazy well, right? It's still taking good damage, and then that good damage is stuff that can be pushed into foul play KOs. With, like, any extra chip at all. They did bring, the Grind of Poison, and potentially Boots on Mouse. So, Toxic Spikes are not looking amazing. But they are an option. Need to remember not to flip turn into Ogerpon Water Absorb. The Gligar is definitely an issue. But hey, I'm in the guild. I mean, I would sort of expect something to, like, I would sack this and then go Ogerpon after, especially if you have Swords Dance. Okay. Yeah, I mean, especially if you can do that, right? Yeah, like Cudgel just KOs. Sneak is a pretty good damage dealer there. Yeah, so this is definitely what we expected to come in this situation. I think I have to go hard into Golgi and just hope they don't have Stomping Tantrum. You know, it's fine. Surely they wouldn't run Stomping Tantrum. Knockoff is a good start. I could get Toxic Spikes up. So I have the ability to Sludge Bomb, I have the ability to Flip Turn on Gligar coming in, or I have the ability to set Toxic Spikes up. I think it's Flip Turn. It's really bad if they, do I switch into Gligar? Thundurus is an okay switch into Gligar, it's not a great one. Flip Turn is free, because I can immediately go back into Goldengo. But Water Absorb means that it's not actually, like, free. It's actually quite quite risky. Okay, Stomping looks like it might KO. I feel like I do have to Sludge Bomb here. Okay, they went into Gligar, House Spit for you. That is not Spit at all. Are you even max HP? Huh? That mass looks really weird. I kind of expect this mon to Rocks instead of EQ, so I kind of want to Flip Turn. I could have Toxic Spiked. I probably should have Toxic Spiked. Losing my Black Sludge means that I don't have as good sustain into Ogerpon, which is always a concern. Oh, Earthquake doesn't even KO. Man, that's so unfortunate for my opponent. I think there might just be, like, no bulk, max HP. Oh, it could be max attack, which I guess I'd die to. But yeah, Sludge Bomb damage is crazy. I mean, imagine if they're not immunity, I'd poison them. Immunity is a good ability for Gligar. But that is really good news for Thundurus. They only have one Pokemon that speed ties in Mousehold, and then they can theoretically, like, punish it with Disguise from Mimikyu. I think I have to Flip Turn here, though. I just don't want to go hard into any of my other Pokemon. My opponent has not clicked a move, which is always concerning. I'm hoping they click Knockoff. Okay, that does look like their max attack. Oh, Specs Moonblast time. Honestly, with webs, I'm in a crazy position. Especially if this dies. Wouldn't expect it to die, but it might. Dual Wing Beat, I guess, would be annoying. I don't know if it learns it. It doesn't even KO. Oh no, this isn't max attack. Max attack would KO. Yeah. I'm 1 point faster than max speed Mouse. I don't think I Oko Mouse though. No, I don't. That's even into no bulk. Which, to be fair, so far my opponent has not shown a particularly strong preponderance towards running bulk. Yeah, okay. It may not even have been Eviolite. Genuinely may not have been Eviolite. Alright, let's see who's coming out next. Obviously the worst one would be Mimikyu, because I can't really do a lot to it. Everything else I threaten with a 2-hit KO very reliably. Mimikyu I don't. and Mimikyu can threaten me back with an Oko. And with Mimi, I gotta follow up with Sucker. If they're not Life Orb, they don't threaten me with an Oko, or if they're even if they're Jolly, which they may be to a catch Golengo, though I imagine they would run speed. Is Scyther Scarf? Is that why? We know that Ogerpon cannot be Scarf. Okay, it looks like a Moonblast into a CC would always remove. I kind of wish I had Terra Blast Fairy instead of Play Rough. Like I said, I had Brute Bonnet and the other Mon on the team for a while. Being Terra Blast Fairy would feel very nice. Just because I wouldn't be able to miss, like you can miss with Play Rough. Missing's not fun. Okay, I'm going to Moonblast this. Okay, they went for Ivy Cudgel. Yeah, I'm just going to T-Bolt this with Thund. They don't switch into Thund well. I mean, even Mouse is a speed tie where I'm looking to 2-Akio them. They are looking to 2-Akio me back, don't get me wrong, but I am looking to 2-Akio them. I mean, I feel like we're getting in a really good position for Lycanroc, like just talking about some chip on Mimikyu and on Mouse before I win. That said, Goldengo is not looking in a great place. I could have dugged. Dug always removed. Bandit Dug Foul Play. How good is that into Mouse? Not great. Earthquake's really good though. How concerned are we about Knock? Do I need this? I mean, this mod's fast as hell. I feel like I can always sack Goldengo. Slash, move search, mouse hold, dark type. It could be Terra Blast as well. It does have crunch. I think that I have to sack Goldengo here. It's just too slow. And I don't have the ability to put webs up again. Webs up anymore. Oh, that's funny. Oh god, I don't even die. That's not great for my opponent here. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it rain. Curse. Curse is not what I would have expected there. I'm a level with you. I mean, you die. Yeah, it's fine. Unless their plan is to stall me out of Make It Rains, which maybe it is. Trick does not feel like a great move in this game. I mean, they should be faster and just KO me still. I don't see what's changed about that. It actually doesn't feel great. I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. I was hoping on. Oh my god, imagine effect on Doug. They would have cursed me and then taken 1,000,000 damage. Okay, please die. Ah, Sash. I would not have guessed that. Yeah, -1 more. I'm still threatening it with a KO, but I'm not really KO. Oh no, I'm not even threatening it with a KO. This is definitely not amazing. Part of the question is how do I feel about Thund, and part of the question is how do I feel about this. I mean, Mouse is definitely annoying. I think I just have to hit it whenever it's in, right? Which is, I suppose, the issue that is that I kind of have to do that with every one of their mons. Yeah, definitely just kind of have to hit it. I mean, just make it rain here. Then with a dueling beat. But if I get any chip on it, either it will not be faster than Lycanroc, and then Lycanroc will KO it, or it will be faster than Lycanroc and Accelerock will KO it because it will have taken chip. Because there's no way I try to die to Trailblaze. There's no way. Yeah. Does this Mimikyu not have Snake? Not having knockoff there is weird. I don't know what its moveset is. Okay, Cudgel comes out. That really does make me just want to... can I Earthquake yet? Yeah, it makes me just want to Earthquake. In fact, Earthquake is looking like it threatens a KO into every Pokemon on their team. Doug, my favorite Pokemon. It's so much fun. Genuinely, Doug is just an incredibly fun Pokemon to use. Good old Topical Ointment. I completely forgot I called it Topical Ointment. Oh god. Some of my nicknames are there. Good old Darien. Doug is a fun one. I'm so glad I picked it up. I don't know, Brute Bonnet's really awkward. Obviously, you guys have not seen much with it, but I have built for all 3 of the games that haven't been played yet. And it is an awkward Pokemon to try and bring. Its speed tier and typing and move pool are all kind of awkward. I mean, they just go Mimikyu, right? I mean, they can go Mouse if they want to. If they're bulky, it's fine, because they can always tidy up, though I do still have Accelerock, which they're obviously not fully aware of. But yeah. I would sack Thund. Would I? Nah, I think Thund's better than Doug. So, they do have Terra Grass. Okay. No Terra. And we'll see if they have enough bulk to live the EQ. I'm surprised about the lack of thing. But yeah, I mean, the second that I broke this, the second that I broke the Mimikyu's Disguise, they were in a really difficult position, which is cool. I appreciate being able to get them to that position. And, you know, Doug either KOs this, or I get to come in with Lycanroc after and KO, or Thundurus and KO. Probably Lycanroc. Lycanroc deserves it. Yeah, I mean, they would presumably Terra Dark for the extra damage into Goldengo. I mean, if they're not Life Orb, I don't think I even die. Yeah. Oh wow, they are not even attack invested. Or at least not adamant. No, I think that's not even attack invested. FireFalls. I for the video. Smiley face. Copy the replay, drop it in the chat, or at least send, paste, smile. That curse was very rough for my opponent. Somehow the copy button, I don't think it worked. Yeah, okay, the copy button doesn't seem to be working anymore. My opponent is FireFalls. Alright, send the paste and I'll check that it was a lot of fun. I'll send my opponent my paste as well. Rabombe! Yeah, a lot of choice items. I still had one left. So they did bring rocks. They were knockoff. Yeah, okay, max speed on the Gligar. Yeah, Eviolite is honestly just like max defense, max speed, Mimikyu. Okay, that is some crazy stuff. That Muck being max attack was obviously really bad for it, but I think we saw that it wasn't loving taking thing. I should have put these in calc at the start of the game. Often I do, but the like in-game calc app is very convenient. It is really a lot of thanks to the people who do make it. You know, it's awesome to be back in the thing. It's awesome to be winning. So if they weren't like SPDF, you know, so say that they sort of had like a more neutral nature. I mean, we'll just click the twice button, right? You know, even without just like the max SPDF nature, it takes so much damage. So attack is an interesting one. Obviously, the Shadow Sneak damage wound up being impactful, though not impactful enough to sort of win them the game. The surprise of Focus Dash CC. Yeah, no. I was brought Rock Blast. Sorry, my opponent is responding. So they were really concerned that I was going to bring a Dondozo, more stall-oriented team, potentially with a Heatran. I know I did have Heatran. I did almost bring Dondozo, but it was just very, very challenging. They were like, if I purposely lost Ogerpon to Goldengo and then sent out Mouse, I might have swept. Yeah, so I had Scarf specifically so that I'd be faster than the setup Mouse. Yeah, so like very fast. I was super worried about all your setup. Yeah, so the Muck, obviously, Shuka feels kind of random. I feel like you can still get dugged through Shuka pretty easily. Like, you need so little chip on this for that to not get dugged through Shuka, right? That did not work. There we go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Mimikyu was meant to be a Dondozo counter. That is interesting. My Dondozo was very much meant to like wave crash and then dip when I did have it. The main issue Dondozo had was Komodo being potentially special. I ignored Draco special attack drops, and that was one of the main decisions that I didn't wind up bringing it. Okay, yeah, so apparently I was supposed to try and dug the Muck from full. I don't normally try and dug Pokemon from full. Unless, like, I know that they die. I mean, we saw me trap Ogerpon. That Ogerpon was incredibly low. And then the other two Pokemon obviously took significant amounts of damage. Mimikyu was very bulky. They had very limited resilience. No Terrifier Diancie meant you had nothing to really check by specs mods. It's not like their Ghost matchup was even particularly good, right? So if we consider the fact that they were zero bulkier, yeah, like taking even like a bit of chip, I mean, especially if I did get rocks up, like rocks plus a Shadow Ball meant that they were in range of dug through Shuka. Like, that is not great for them. Obviously not, you know, not what wound up happening. Lycanroc didn't even get to pop off, but I'm always happy for Dug to pop off. being able to KO, you know, 3 pretty big Pokemon. Gligar wound up dying to Ribombee. Always happy to get Ribombee KOs. Yeah, I mean, they just, you know, they didn't even run a Scarf Pokemon, and that felt very challenging for my opponent. They didn't want to bring Diancie because it felt like it would have limited their decisions in building. They briefly considered Chrome. I did too. Yeah, I mean, the Mimikyu was a major reason I didn't go for that. Yeah, both the Muck and Gligar not having, like, a substantial bulk meant that an offense Dragulchi, and I did have, like, a Life Orb build of Dragulchi. With, like, a Trick Room version of the set. I mean, again, so little chip, and then all of a sudden the Muck is just dead. I think they must have been really scared of Goldengo, but then also not wanted to beat Goldengo. It seems like they brought a team that could punish Goldengo if they didn't have to switch into it, which was very sort of awkward. So if we look at this max attack, I mean, you know, like, you know, you have to get damage on it, which, you know, ultimately you did with Muck, right? Oh, it's in 2 turns, so it's meant to be in 1 turn. Let's send the right calc. Feels like you can't ride on you sacking 2 or 1.5 to 2 mons to most of my guys. So they had to knock into Make It Rain. No, sorry, knock into Earthquake. That is just awkward, right? That's just awkward. For one thing, I had to be in with Goldengo and staying in against Gligar. You know, knocking Ribombee would have been annoying. You know, knocking Doug could have been annoying. Knocking Thund would have been something they could do. They didn't have Roost. They had no sustain. This was really strong. I mean, I don't think Gligar is very good. And the problem is that all of its sets are just super passive. I mean, you know, like we're seeing, this Earthquake, you know, it's the same, having the same issue Doug does. I think it has even less attack than DUGTRIO at 75 against 100. Even than pre-buff DUGTRIO, which was 90. It's just very difficult to feel superimposing when, like, you know, okay, at least you're threatening Lycanroc with a KO. If I'm not Terra-ing, though it is a Terra Captain, so that is a concern. You know, not threatening Dragulchi with a KO because I did run some bulk. And yeah, Mimi would have been really good with more offensive set, I think. Yeah, min HP to recover more after Curse. I mean, dude, I'd almost gone Doug that turn on the one I went Goldengo. If I'd gone Doug, if I'd gone Doug instead of Gold on Mini, yeah, would have been weird. Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, Dondozo almost came with the purpose of being the thing. I had Dragulchi as a defensive option, and I would say that it functioned effectively as a defensive option. It wound up pushing sufficient chip into Gligar, and it threatened out Ogerpon. I mean, if I Draco'd, that Gligar was basically gone. Yeah. Anything, they expected me to switch into any Pokemon except Goldengo. The reason I switched into Goldengo was because I wanted to get Life Orb chip to put in range of Thund. I also don't think it would have helped them to get chip on most of my other Pokemon that much. Like, what, most of them wound up dying to getting O-Code? Ribombee got O-Code. Lycanroc would have been O-Code by most of my their stuff. I mean, Doug wasn't O-Code, but that's because it was beating out Mimikyu. The Mimikyu would have died to Earthquake after the Curse, so it wouldn't have been that helpful, even if they could have used Protect and Sneak to remove the Doug. It would have been like I think an even trade. They could always switch, I suppose. which is why I really need to get rid of Cypher, and that's why it was a Pokemon that I was really glad it got sacked to Golengo. Did it not have knockoff? It's quick attack. Cypher without knockoff. Okay. But yeah, so but yeah, so it was pretty cool. The Terra Dark, it was okay. It was Bite with Technician, which is definitely, you know, it's a solid combination. Because obviously Crunch is slightly weaker, but I just don't know if that is incredibly consistent. Having HP over Spadef would have meant that they actually like live stuff. The fact they were Terra Dark just gave them so little defensive potential, and they didn't have any other Terra captains. It's the same reason I regretted. No, like I regretted not running Terra Blast Fairy, because I didn't wind up actually bringing Oranguru or Brute Bonnet, so I should have just been Terra Blast, and then not risked missing player off. In the same sort of way, they were always going to be able to, like, this is slightly stronger than a Terra Ghost Terra Blast, but the Terra Ghost Terra Blast also gives them the defensive potential to take a, I guess it takes a Psychic move, but it doesn't give them the defensive potential to take a fighting move, which is my main coverage into Mousehold, because it's its only weakness. So I think that's sort of where their issue is. Also, Terra Grass obviously would have let them take Earthquake from Doug. Wouldn't have won them the game, because they would have still been taking over half, and then what they... they Tidy Up still are slower than Lycanroc. Wouldn't have won them the game, but would have been, I think, a little bit better. Just the fact that you always want to be committing a Terra here means that you can just run Terra Blast, and you do lose the 10 base power, but you get the increased consistency and you get the greater defensive flexibility. So that I do think was a mistake in my build. I think this should have been Terra Blast. Honestly, Trick was still good in theory, even if it didn't wind up being good in practice, because of the specific Pokemon my opponent wound up bringing. But yeah, definitely was a good bit of fun. Thank you everyone for watching. I wish you all goodbye.